So we're going to talk about Competition Suite. Competition Suite is an online digital judging program. I know Mark and I have used it for many years with DCI and Banks of America, but this is an easy way for you to do your adjudication. Now, we had a training with all of our area executives. This was about a couple weeks ago. I met with them and Dr. Kent, and we went through everything they need to know. You probably, if you're a band director who's at Competition Suite, you probably got an invitation from me, or you're going to get one this week if you haven't already set up your account, that invites you to set up your account, get your staff added and all that. Mm-hmm. But I want to tell you, and Mark and I both have a lot of experience with this app, what you need to be prepared for. First and foremost, what I'm going to say is the areas will provide you with all of the equipment. You don't need to bring anything. Now, I'm going to tell you what the areas are using because if you do want to bring your own, if you're just that kind of person about it, then I don't want to dissuade you from being able to do that. The area is going to present you, most of you, with an iPad to judge that day. And the iPad will be your primary means of adjudication. Some may use an Android tablet. Those work fine too. Believe it or not, your phone actually does a pretty good job. I wouldn't want to run the whole day on that, but you could. The other thing that area executives are going to present you with is a headset and a little kind of, I'll call it a dongle for lack of a better term, that has the ability to plug in and help you go right to the recording channel of that. Now, if you are somebody who is maybe a little germ conscious and you want to have your own headset, in the important links that I was just highlighting before, I put a link in there where you can order both of these off of Amazon. I think in total it's about $12.
It was very inexpensive.
Yeah, I know we both had to buy them for DCI this year. $12 or $14. But if you want to have your own, you can go buy your own and bring it with you, and it'll work on all those tablets. You don't have to. All the area executives are providing them. But again, if it's something you want to have. The other thing that the area executives are going to provide on that iPad that they hand to you or that Android tab is this app. If you want to have the app on your own device, that's fine too. I do have it on mine as just an emergency backup if everything comes crumbling down. It's a free app. I do want to note there are two Competition Suite apps. There's the one that the band directors use to hear their comments. It's called Competition Suite Commentary. Mm-hmm. And then it has a little, looks like a tape, I think, like a little tape on it. Yeah.
Like cassette tape. Yeah.
This one has a gavel on it that says Competition Suite Judge. But they look real similar, just so you're forewarned. You can go download that for free. I've got, I think all of our judges are set up now. So if you go log in based on the email that you've been receiving, the invitation to join us today, if you have that, chances are you also have this. So it's ready to go for you. So I just want to make sure that you know that that is there and ready to roll for you, and you can start playing with it and seeing how it all works. There is a login process. You can use your email and enter your password to get all logged in. Again, it's at the email address that I sent the invitation to join us today. So some of you, I have your school email. Some of you, I have your personal email. If I have both, you could try both. If you've not yet set up an account because you've never used Competition Suite before, which is certainly possible, you can create an account. You'll see on there where you do it, but use that same email. And once you go in, you'll see over there on that left-hand side, I happen to pull up, I have two profiles. I know that's bad. I shouldn't have this. This is one that I use for DCI and for the Colorado, when I judge in Colorado. And so you can see under judging, yours will have UIL under it. Now, if you're somebody like Mark who's got a group out there too, yours is going to have a group on it, and it might have a Banks of America logo and a UIL logo and a WGI logo. And you know, you can see these are some of my Capel ones.
NTCA, who has that one?
Yes, yeah. A lot of the local groups, so you're going to see TCGC, those kind of things. But look at the judging tab, and under that judging tab, which is the last one, it's going to say University Interscholastic League. If you don't see it, don't worry. I'm still working and cleaning it up, and we've got a month, so we're fine, or a month and a half, so we're fine. But I did want you to know you can start logging into your profile and making sure that that works. If you need help, you can click on the help at Competition Suite. Matt Becker runs Competition Suite. He can help you. You can email me, and I can help you. But we can get you all logged in and set up. Even if your login doesn't work, you can still judge that day. The contest organizer, who's your area executive, they can log in and they can select you as a judge. So don't worry. If you're like, Jerry, I don't have time for this, I don't like technology, I don't want to mess with it, no big deal. You can show up that day and all of these things will be taken care of for you. But I wanted to walk you through the process just so you knew what to expect. And so once you have the tablet in front of you, what does it look like? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on that app and you're going to go into it and begin looking at the groups. Now, I want to say this very clearly because this is an important statement. If you are judging at an area that's using Competition Suite, you will not be writing on sheets. Boy, talk about, I almost want to ask that question when somebody calls me, Jerry, can you judge area? Are you using Competition Suite? Yeah, we are. Cool, I'm signing up. Because it takes a ton of pressure away. I mean,
those. To write.
Your recorded commentary is going to be everything. Now, that's not to say that you can't have sheets for the groups, that you can't print a sheet for every group if you ask for that, or you have just one general sheet.
Like a laminated placemat sheet.
Right. Well, and I've asked the area execs to please have a laminated one or a card copy one for you that you can keep on your desk. But if you were to reach out to that area exec and say, hey, can I have one for every band? I'm sure they'd be open to give that to you, and I think that would probably help you tremendously. Now, when you go in, and this is at the login stage, it's going to show that contest. You see, that's that fake contest from before. Mm-hmm. That's the Area 6A ZZZ marching contest, and that's my fake contest that I've been using. And once I log in, I get to pick my judges. Oh, look, I guess I'll switch that some people, but there's Mr. Munoz, there's me, Dr. Kent judged that one, Joey Paul's on it, and Larry Matishak. So those were our 5 judges at our fake contest. I know I made some switches between then and then, but you'll select who you are. In my case, I select my name. At the very top, a little pop-up comes up, and it says, hey, Jerry, are we in prelims or we're in finals? Now, I will tell you this. After the prelims recap posts, you can't go back into prelims.
Right.
So, and honestly, if the prelims recap hasn't posted, it's going to default you into prelims. But I always check that anyway. It pops up right there when you go in, and you see that little orange circle at the top. You can click on it to activate that bar. And you can see there's a list of groups. I'm actually midway judging here on this fake profile. I have Lake Travis and Cedar Ridge and Pearland and Cy Woods and Marcus and Carroll Scene. I'm all over the map here. But this is the strangest area anywhere, right?
Yeah, that's where it's spread out.
And I have some bands already scored and some not. But you can see there I have an ensemble performance number of 200 for the group I've selected. I have a woodwind performance of 150, etc. I've already got some numbers plugged into there. When I open it the first time, though, it's going to kind of look like this. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot of zeros down the column. And you can see that after selecting the contest, I'm going to click on that first group. In this case, Westwood's my first group of the day. So I click on Westwood, and it's going to launch me into this. Now, you notice on the right-hand side, there are 2 things. There's one thing that says score and one thing that says record. Well, obviously, I can't score them before I record for them. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to click on that record function next, and it's going to pop up a screen that looks like this. And it says record commentary. I love that Matt put this note on here. He writes, you can tap pause if needed, right? Because isn't that the question we always have when we get
can I hit this button
handheld and you're like, if I press pause, am I going to be okay?
Yeah.
In Competition Suite, yes. Good afternoon, drum majors. This is Jerry. Or good afternoon, Pleasure Band. This is Jerry Miller. I'm here to judge. Blah. I'll be back with you after the drum major salute. Pause, and then I wait. Drink my water, review my sheet, what have you, and then the announcer goes, the clock, the 5-minute clock gets down to 0. We switch to the 8-minute clock, and then I can unpause it.
And you can see that 10 seconds have elapsed on your intro. Okay, it's working. I did the right version. It's on there. Yeah.
And some people say, well, but Jerry, how do I know that I'm recording? Well, there's a few. I think Matt did a good job with this. Number one, you see that the first circle I have in the center there. It says recording and it has an orange circle. Okay, I like that. Number 2, the time's moving. I like that. Number 3, do you see the little VU meter over on the right side? I like that. I can see the VU meter bouncing as I talk. So I feel really sure that I'm recording now. And it's a triplicate. I mean, really, the recording light is on, that orange light. The time is moving. The VU meter's bouncing. So I know I'm recording. I can press pause. Even if the tablet goes to sleep, it keeps recording. Because some tablets, if you don't touch it for 2 minutes or what have you, the screen goes black. Yeah. No worries. The tablet is still recording. You are all good. You'll go back into it, swipe or what have you, touch the home button to get back in. Now, when you are all done, you're going to press the stop button. Do you see it over there on the left? It's in gray. And once you press the stop button, you're going to get this little green microphone with a check, and it says all set, meaning you're done, you're good. That file is going to that director, okay? what happens if I press stop too early? What happens if, I meant to press pause.
Right.
All right, pause is over on the right. You see pause on the right. I press stop instead. My fingers slipped.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If I press stop instead, it does not let me go back in and, well, I shouldn't say that. You could go back in and re-record, but it will overwrite anything you did.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So let's say that I do say, good afternoon, so-and-so high school. This is Jerry Miller. I'll be judging music today. I'm on the 35-yard line. Excited to see you. Stop. Shoot. Guess what I have to do? I have to go record my intro again.
Right.
Record. So chances are you're only going to do it once. Now, my bigger fear would be, what if you press stop in the middle of a show? But again, we wouldn't press pause or stop in the middle of a show anyway.
Right.
So just know, if you accidentally press stop, you see that record button's back in orange again. If you hit it, it's going to say, recording will overwrite all commentary, and you just go, yep, and I got to do my intro again.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it happens to the best of us. I'm sure it's happened in my judging career. Like, not the end of the world. The group will
Right.
totally understand.
And so each group is going to only get one file. You can't create two files for them.
No way.
It's just one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just one file per group. And I'll tell you, we use this at 5A, 6A state. We piloted it last year between 7 judges, right? Prelims and finals, all of 5A and 6A, we had one recording go away. Every other recording worked perfectly.
That's great.
Which, compared to the little handhelds, is a much higher
It really
rate
is.
of success.
Yes. It's a victory.
Yeah, so once you're done with the record tab, now you're going to click on the score tab. You see the little thumbs up. Inside of there, you're going to click a score for each one of the groups. When you click in it, it launches up into a little, almost like a little calculator almost.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I type a number that's too high?
Out of range.
It kicks me out, yeah. Kicks you out. What happens if I type a number and I try to use a decimal? It's going to kick you out. Like, you have to be accurate with this. But it will give you very clearly the ability to enter that number. What happens if I type a number that's tied with another band? The number will change to red.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, you can, and Brad, Kent, and I have discussed this, you can have a sub-caption time, meaning you could have the band A and band B woodwinds both at 180. I personally don't love that. I would
Right.
like for you to make a call. I would like for you to go, if they are really that close, go 182 and 180. Like, I mean, if they're legitimately that close, just make a call, okay? But if you do end up with one, end of the day, that second band and the last band of the day, gosh, it's so fine. It will be okay. But you cannot have a bottom line tie.
Right.
If that top number is in red, then you can guarantee that an executive secretary is going to be tapping your shoulder in a few minutes, right? Now, what about this green verify button? This green verify button is like, imagine if you wrote the score in pencil the first time. The green verify button puts it in pen. It locks the score. Now, does that mean I can't change it ever again? No, it's fine if you need to go back and visit it.
Mm-hmm.
What Dr. Kent and I have talked about is, we would like you to lock scores at the end of a block,
Mm-hmm.
if you feel comfortable. Okay? So at the end of the first block of bands, let's say there's 8 bands in a block. Seems reasonable? 8 bands in the first block. Go ahead and lock those, and you'll just hit that green verify button. Now, I'm going to show you a shortcut as to how to do that, but you can hit that green verify button, and that will lock all of those numbers for those first block of bands for you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm a band that's competing. I can hear your recording then, but I'm not seeing any numbers right now. Even though it's verified, I only get the audio portion of it like we always would, but verified doesn't mean, oh no, and they changed their number, they dropped us down some. I never see that.
No. The scores don't get released until we go through the verification period at UIL. And I'll talk to you about that here in just a second and show you what that looks like. So as far as that goes, you can click on, and I love at the bottom of the column, I think I showed it in this previous slide. Do you see that down there at the bottom? It says worksheet and summary down there at the bottom. I'm kind of floating my mouse down there. I can click on that worksheet and look at what it gives me. There's Round Rock. I have a tie. You can see that. There's Round Rock and Reagan, and I have ensemble, woodwind, brass, percussion, and content, and it shows that I have a tie between those two groups, right? So I can go into that worksheet, and then I can go back to that score and begin cleaning that up for myself if I'd like, right?
Any time I can go to the Access worksheet.
Absolutely. So, it is, as Mark was saying, when you go to lunch, if you're like, man, I got to clean this up, this is kind of messy, this is an opportunity for you to dive back in and work on that. But you can see, once you've verified, you have to ask that tabulator or that area executive, hey, can you unlock that for me? I got to go back and revisit my score for band A, right? And I'd have to go back and see that again. You can also use the summary screen. It looks very similar. What I like about the summary screen, and I think of summary as in I'm done, right? I mean, so the word summary makes me think I'm finished. You can go into that summary screen and click verify all, and it'll right down the line for you. So if you're looking for a faster way to do that, because you saw before, you could literally verify every number for every, I mean, you could get that microscopic. You can go over here to summary, and you can just go, I'm going to verify the first 5 bands of the day, 6 bands with that first block. I'm going to click Round Rock, Reagan, there's Keller. We'll go through and just click those guys and get them locked in. So that's, again, another way that you can tackle that. Now, I do want to talk to you about the recaps. The recaps are going to be a lot more focused. Now, the recap, and Mark was talking about, do the bands get their score when I verify? No. No, they will get their recordings. You know, some areas we're getting them their recordings faster than others. But now, once you press that stop button, the file is going to upload from your tablet up to the cloud, right? Once it's in the cloud, the directors get a notice on their phone that says a new file is available for band A. And then they can click on it and they can listen to your commentary. But they will not see your scores. The only way they can see your scores is when that area executive has finished and verified every score of the whole contest. At the very end, they're going to do what's called release the scores. And I've talked with our area executives. Many of them are going to do it after the verification period. So you're going to come in the room, and we're going to say 1 recap per band. Here's yours, here's yours, here's yours. Everybody look at it. Let me know if you have any questions. You can release just your individual band's numbers and all the math. But the good news is this system cleans up a lot of the math and a lot of the errors that can come out of Competition Suite going forward. Okay? So do you have any questions for me about Competition Suite? I'm going to look in the chat. It's been pretty quiet so far, so I like that a lot. Hopefully I'm doing okay by all of you. We're going to take a quiz on Competition Suite. Were you paying attention? I hope you are. I hope you're engaged.
Watching the score of your favorite football game right now.
Right. I think the Texans are playing right now. So the Cowboys are off, so we're good. So let's go ahead and bring up quiz number 5. This is our final quiz. We're going to take a few questions, but I've got a couple other things I want to cover with you. But let's pause here for a second and just let you take quiz number 5. We're going to pause for 2 minutes, and then I'll be back with you with a couple of exemplars and some closing remarks. All right. Coming back in, I hope you were able to answer quiz number 5. Again, you can go over there to the important links, and there's no pressure from us to get all those answered. If you need a little more time, you can absolutely do that and take more time with that. So the other thing Mark and I wanted to share with you today were some exemplars. One of the things that we've been really excited about through this process and this partnership between TMAA and UIL is that with the permission of the directors and some judges, we've begun to craft, and again, we only have Competition Suite from 5A, 6A, but we've begun to craft some exemplars. Now, I leaned heavy on 5A this year. It's a non-advancing year for them to keep it fairly non-competitive, so to speak. We used some 5A programs that performed at state. And to let you hear a little bit of judge commentary, I think that there's something interesting when you get a group that is not your own, where there's not an emotional connection, where when the judge talks about alignment, you like say the kid's name in your mind that was out of the line because you know.
It's the flutes.
Yeah, right. Like you kind of have maybe a calmer sense of where we are with that. And so I thought it might be fun just to like listen to a couple of exemplars and think about music. And so this first exemplar is going to be Julie Davila. She's talking to Wakeland High School, and I want to thank Tanner Smith for letting us use this recording. This is state prelims, and she was on the music panel. And I want you to listen to a little bit of her pace, her use of silence, the ability to take in a moment, listen to it, and this is the very tail end of their show. So you're going to also hear Julie's wrap-up of just kind of where she thinks things are and what comments she says, positively and areas for additional growth. Anything else before we hear this?
No, I mean, you one thing, you'll recognize that she is appreciating the efforts and the training that have gone into this and the content choices that have been made. Like she's recognizing that and then also alluding to what degree they're executing it.
Absolutely. So Ben, let's go ahead and roll. This is the clip of music and an exemplar here with Julie Davila.
Blend of synthesized sounds to boost that moment along with percussion. With the staging of the percussion backfield, I felt like they were a little understated in that. Wow, velocity on the field handling. Really strong motor for you, Wakeland, with the physical demands. Beautiful low brass. All right, bring it. Woo! Yeah. Excellent with that field coverage. A really excellent sense of balance and blend, energy that all the members were giving. Particularly challenging physicality of that last 30 seconds as well. All right, Wakeland, really enjoyed it. What an impressive program, top to bottom. Yeah, I certainly appreciate all the challenges environmentally, physically in the program. You know, one comment just moving forward is just trying to dial in the 2D moments so that, you know, I think it's just a minor balance issue right now, just making sure we hear full choir of woodwinds through the middle voices to the upper brass in some of those tuning moments. I think the synthesizer perhaps might have been contributing to a little bit of dominating over the woodwinds at times, and I'm sure in a second performance you'll be able to dial in some of those balances. Really enjoyed it. I hope my comments have been helpful. I want to wish you the best of luck.
Super. Like I think Julie does a great job of making a call for a group in prelims that offers some real reward. She's a fan, and I know you had sent me a note about that. Like, one of the things we wanted to make sure we mentioned today is, you know, we want you to be fans of the groups you judge.
I bet she did that for every group, just giving them, I'm giving you my best, I'm recognizing your best, and celebrating what you're doing, and also analyzing and being critical when needed. And I mean, what a great analysis of, like, yeah, she's on our side here. She likes us.
Yeah, I mean, I think you walk out of that as a band director and you go, I want to play this for my students. If my principal said, hey, what are those guys saying up there? What are those ladies talking about? I'd be like, hold on, I got you. I'll share this file with you on Competition Suite and let you listen to what they're talking about. So, you know, I think all of those are incredibly valuable. I also want you to notice her pauses where, you know, we understand that you can't talk and listen at the same time. Anybody who's been in a long-term relationship knows you can't talk and listen at the same time. Like,
I'm guilty right here. Yeah.
You know, you have to take it in. And I don't think as a director I fault you as an adjudicator if you're not talking for the straight 7 or 8 minutes, but that you're taking a moment to experience that and be there with those kids. Be their band director for 15 minutes and offer them commentary to help them grow as an ensemble, whether area prelims or area finals are their last performances of the year, or whether they're going on to San Antonio. You know, offering them that and being on their side and being their fan, I think is so valuable.
Hard to hear because it was a snapshot of the end of the show. Let's say that it was the same tenor as well as the same level of commentary. Probably going to score the Wakeland band very well at that contest,
right?
Most likely.
And that's
tell it was leading us to a certain number.
Yeah, I should have looked that up. I'd be curious to see on our 3 exemplars, you know, where did the numbers fall for? I suppose anybody could go to a recap right now and look that up. It's online. But just kind of see where those fall. So we're producing right now a set of primarily audio only. We're going to get the video component added in more and more. But as you go to judge area, I'm hoping that today I can tease the idea of listen to a couple of exemplars in the car on the way to the stadium, or if you're flying or driving down the night before, take a moment and listen to a few exemplars and be like, these are good. Now, most of my exemplars are from state, so the sheets are not an exact match. But I think you can still get an idea, as Mark said, of the tenor of the level of engagement and excitement that we want to offer to the group. So let's jump over to music. To visual. So we're going to hear Jackie Gilly this time. She's going to talk to Aledo High School. This is right at the end of their intro, getting into the opener. And Jackie's going to, sometimes I think we're a little hesitant as band folks to maybe make the color guard level of commentary that we might want to. And Jackie, who has an extensive background in band and in color guard, doesn't dive too deep. She uses very plain terms that I think any of us could pull out of the hat without too much trouble. And I think Jackie's discussion of what's asked of the performers, how well they do it, is really, really solid in this exemplar. Anything else before we hear this clip?
Yeah, another great example here. Let's view it.
So, yeah, Ben, let's go ahead and cue up. This is Aledo, and again, thanks to Joey Paul for letting us use this clip, and this is Jackie Gilly judging visual.
Excellent use of the gesture arm by the color guard. Excellent job as we bring the full ensemble together. Excellent understanding of the shaping of that arm. And what a great job of staging the color guard around the band. And handling the responsibility so well with use of the body underneath the equipment. Same thing with the band, the visuals with the lower body. Thank you for the simultaneous responsibility here. Yes. Excellent job of visual musicality from the color guard. It just seems to stop one count earlier than that drum roll off. Excellent with the visuals we come across. Strong uniformity, including with the horn visual. Thank you.
So, again, in listening to Jackie, I like that it's very plain language. Any high school student, even a high school administrator who maybe doesn't know a lot about visual could listen to that and go, I totally understand. I think we get that question as directors over the years. What are those judges looking for? What are they listening to? And I think that, again, a sense of appreciation that Jackie shows inside of that moment, a sense of she is with the performers. She understands what's being asked of them. She's not making a huge deal of it. She's like, this is what's being asked of you, and this is how well it's very consistent, or it's, and I think she's making those remarks to obviously a very strong ensemble.
It harkens back to the earlier discussion about impression analysis, et cetera. It's the opening of the show. She's getting a strong impression of what's happening, but she is going to a little bit of analysis mode. She is like, okay, why is this happening? This is good. Where are we on this? Are we at a really high level? This is really neat how this is evolving. She's really starting to study it in addition to being introduced to it already. But what a great example.
Yeah, and so we're going to play one more. Before we do that, I do want to highlight back on that important links document and how valuable I think that could be to you, because I've put a number of resources, and if you'll give me a second here, I may be able to bring it up and show it to you. But one of the things that we wanted to be able to share with you as best we could were some resources that you can take down the line. And I know Mark highlighted this earlier. You can absolutely come back and revisit this presentation at any time. Any of the things we talked about today are things that you can absolutely look at. But when we think about that important links document, sorry, I'm not going to be able to show it on the screen to you, but I can call it up over here. But one of the things that is really cool inside of that is not only did we want to provide you with the quizzes and links to that to make today flow better, but we also threw in there that scoring specific terminology. Remember that that's just a list of synonyms, because after 32 bands, consistently is a word that kind of wears me out too.
Redundancy,
so it gave you some notes there. There's notes on guard commentary. I like to read that, especially at area if I'm doing music and prelims and visual and finals. During that dinner break or what have you, I might just go back and just read through that and just be like, okay, I'm going to make sure I give not just, I think you said this earlier, not just that's a pretty flag, but that you're talking to the performer.
Yeah. How are they doing it, not what you purchased and put on the field.
Right. There's copies of the region and area and state adjudication sheets if you want to have blanks of those and have those available. Additionally, I put the advancement process. I know most of you know that, but just to have it at handy. All those scoring tools and those tote sheets we were talking about during numbers management, there are the multicolored ones, there are black and white ones, and there's even a digital scoring tote resource that does it all. If you're a technology kind of person like I am, you might like that, and you can actually type in your scores, and it'll auto-track, auto-rank them for you over the course of the day. You can download it as an Excel file. I would probably do that rather than relying on Google to work in whatever press box you're in. I did put the competition suite equipment, and then the area and state judge manuals are in there. The thing that I'm looking forward to adding to that are going to be some exemplars that we can share, just some audio files of that you can continue to listen to and grow with. So one more to share with you. This is going to be Dr. Nola Jones, and we're talking about content. She's working with, she's listening to, at this point, McCallum High School out of Austin, and talking about their ballad. I think sometimes when it comes to content, we maybe feel like, is that a little more subjective? Is that, how do I get into that content box? But I think the questions are our guide. Are all the and you're going to hear her address these things. are the performers being utilized? Is there clear, and I know she addresses this pretty quickly, visual reinforcement of what she's hearing? How about, is the musical content suitable for them? And she talks a little bit about excellence inside of this clip. I don't know, anything else before we share this one?
Especially hitting that about the visual coordination of that. When it was a content design sheet, but she does allude to where you are allowed to talk into the visual caption and vice versa.
Absolutely. So, Ben, let's go ahead and roll this last clip for everyone. This is an example of content. And again, in the case of State, it's a little bit more overarching, so you're going to hear her bounce around a little bit, but gives you a sense of kind of what that commentary and that what and how flow should be like. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Lower body information softens this musical statement over on stage left. Yeah, and the restage for the woodwind is actually motivated by the way the saxophone solo evolved there. Technically, that was cool. Woodwinds, you have to sing. You're staged back there by the mirrors, and I think that's a really great staging opportunity for you. Lovely moment there between the metals and the woodwinds. What great coordination there. Yeah! Yeah, great moment in the altissimo register and how you turned everything backstage to make that happen.
All right, and we're back. So did you learn anything from those exemplars today? I'm really hoping that you did. I'm hoping you feel like, from the exemplar perspective, there's additional opportunity for all of us to grow. And so my hope, and I don't mean to put any of you on the spot or make you feel anxious, is that next year, as a lot of the areas move to competition suite, I can use your exemplars. So I leaned a lot on the state ones, and I leaned on 5A as it's a non-advancing year. I would love to be able to pull exemplars from all over the state, from 2A through 6A area rounds, from groups that are state finalists to groups that, missed area finals. I mean, really just show that full range. And I think the one through line for me of all three of these exemplar clips is how these ladies are all big fans of the groups they're seeing. I feel like they view it as if they were asked to come in and clinic and said, give us your best 15 minutes. And I feel like they get that.
And knowing those three ladies, they all, the group that's in the middle of the pack, they give them that same energy level. They give them the same information and also the same educational experience along the way. They're just true consummate educators.
Yeah. So with that, we are well ahead of schedule, as I thought we might be, separating out the newer judges from those returning folks. So what do your next steps look like? So a couple of things. I think it would be smart for you to look through the totes and decide which tote you want to use. I saw one person ask, do I need to bring it with me? Most area execs provide you with one, but especially if you like the digital resources, you can start playing with that. So I would have a tote idea in mind. If you wanted to order the microphone and the dongle, you could. Again, they're going to have them for you, but I totally understand if you want to have your own, especially because your mouth is so close to it, not wanting to share it with others. I completely get that. I might make a note, and I'm going to start sharing some exemplars with you. Gosh, I'm hoping by the end of this week. I've got some time carved out in my calendar. They're going to be audio only, but I want to be able to share 3 or 4 good music ones, 3 or 4 good visual ones to get you kind of going forward. Review the color guard sheets. Review any of the general overall sheets. Look at that scoring specific bloom and practice. Now, how do you mean practice, Jerry? Well, many of you are in front of a band right now. Maybe it's the same band every day because they're your group. Maybe you're retired and you're doing clinics and you're going in front of groups. I promise, if you're doing a clinic with a group and you're out there with them and it's the end of the night and they're going to do a run through at the end, if you said, "Hey guys, rather than just watch this, I'd like to make a file and I'll send it to you."
Yeah,
that's incredibly
helpful.
Love
that. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, again, for me as a band director, I want that. That judge, though, is also growing, right? I'm growing as an adjudicator in that process as well. So think about how you can do that. And even if you're not in front of a lot of groups, that's okay. YouTube is a wonderful resource.
Right.
Now, please don't go look up groups you're going to judge this year. That's not okay. Okay? But I do want you to feel comfortable that you can go onto YouTube and play with that a little bit and watch some shows from previous years of groups you're not going to see at area. And look at that and feel really confident
I'm sure
about
there's
it.
many halftime performances of,
Yeah.
especially works in progress. That's another great opportunity to be able to say, hey, I know this is incomplete, but let's talk about it now, because you'll be a different type of judging. So.
Yeah, so don't be shy about getting your feet wet and diving in. But again, I want to thank you so much for today. I don't see any other questions in the chat. We are going to take your questions over email. If you have any others, just email me at the one that you received the invitation to. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, a great week of school, a great marching season, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.